Right now we're going to get to our guests that we have right here in the studio. We have with us tonight Abeer Alsharhan, and Abeer is the Assistant Executive Director at the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching. Abeer, welcome to our program.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to have you with us. I know we have a very busy schedule with a lot going on, but we appreciate your time with us tonight.
Always have time for KTV2.
Well, that's nice. Very nice to have you with us. And first off, Abeer, maybe you could tell us a little bit, our audience, a brief about the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching. When were you established, your mission, and so forth?
Okay. Well, the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching was established about 27 years ago. Our main mission is to provide services for children with learning disabilities and to help the ones with not so severe symptoms, to help include them in the public education.
Okay. Now, when you say learning disabilities, elaborate more on that. What do you mean by that, please?
Well, learning disabilities are basically is basically a developmental condition.
Okay.
The condition makes it difficult for the person to receive information, store it, and then produce it. So this in turn affects the person's ability to read, write, spell. It affects the person's attention. Short-term memory usually is quite weak. Sometimes emotional maturity and social skills.
Okay. So I imagine then my next question, your activities, I'm sure, help out with trying to aid with some of those difficulties, correct?
Sure.
Tell us about some of those activities, please.
We have a few activities or services that we usually provide for people with learning disabilities, their parents, teachers, and whomever is involved and who's interested in the field of LD. We have training workshops. We have lectures targeted to the parents, to teachers, school counselors, school social workers. We also have an assessment department, so we psychologically assess those children, and we also have educational tests that help us determine their educational level, whether it's in Arabic, English, or in mathematics. We also and always concentrate on awareness. So we produce a magazine that comes out about every 3 or 4 months, and it has all sorts of information about LD. We have lots of brochures that tell people, the different kinds and where to go and how they can get support around the community.
And let's say these brochures and so forth, can the public, if they want, can they pick them up, some of them at the center?
Of course. They
and
can,
where are you located?
They can pick them up at the center. It's in Al Surra, Block 4, Street 14, and everything that we provide, every single thing we provide at the center is free of charge, whether it's the books that we publish, the magazine, or the brochures.
And you're open for all nationalities to come and see?
Well, we have two treatment programs. The morning program is targeted to Kuwaiti children that treats Kuwaiti children, and they come from the Ministry of Education. And it's small classes, and we follow the Ministry of Education curriculum, and we teach them a certain way. So by using multisensory methods of teaching, using the visual, kinesthetic, moving while teaching. The evening program, on the other hand, is open for Kuwaitis and non-Kuwaitis, and it's a one-to-one learning technique where the students, with their teacher, work on the educational skills that they usually lack.
Excellent. Sounds like the center has a lot to offer for the public, Abeer, and I know you're working yourself and all the staff there on a big conference coming up.
That's right.
An international conference dealing with learning disabilities. Can you elaborate a little bit more about this conference, like where it will be, when it will be, a little bit about the guests and so forth?
Of course. Well, first, the name of the conference is the International Conference for Learning Disabilities, and Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It will be at the Regency Hotel on the 4th and the 5th of December, and it will be under the patronage of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Ahmed Jabir al-Sabah. Most importantly, it is organized by the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching and another non-governmental organization. It's called the Kuwaiti Association for Learning Differences.
Okay, so a big conference, and it is international conference. So does that mean you're going to have guests or speakers from abroad, and if so, from where, please?
Absolutely. We're going to have speakers from Great Britain, speakers from the United States, from Canada, from Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, and of course from inside of Kuwait.
Okay, so from all around the world. And Abeer, fill us in a little bit about the program.
Okay.
What's going to be discussed the 2 days?
Sure.
Any sessions open for the public and so forth?
Sure. Well, the conference is open to the public, but the deadline was over about a week ago. But people can still come in the Regency the second day in the afternoon, so the 5th of December in the afternoon, and hopefully we'll be able to accommodate them. The lectures, the speakers, they'll be talking about diagnosis, they'll be talking about treatment, they'll be talking about ways to support the parents, new methods that are out there on teaching these kids, the best practices out there, the latest research. And of course, I just want to talk a little bit about the goals of the conference, which is basically, number one is to raise awareness among its parents, among its teachers, counselors, and social workers, to clarify the role of some of the governmental, non-governmental organizations that provide services for people with learning difficulties, and to help increase the coordination between those entities. So there's so many places in Kuwait, alhamdulillah, that help those students, be it the health ministry, be it Ministry of Education, be it the public authority for the disabled. They all help those students, but we need to increase the coordination between us so we can help those students, support them even more, and help them succeed.
And now when the speakers are coming, the international speakers and so forth, I'm sure they'll have some workshops, maybe with some of the staff and so forth, to maybe exchange ideas?
Yeah, usually, but not this time, because this is the first one of its kind, I think, in Kuwait, and for us, usually at the center, we do bring lots of experts, again, every couple of months from abroad, and they usually do workshops for our employees, and usually we have a public lecture that's open to the public, and all this information you can find when you come to us in Surah, inshallah.
Okay, now in the state of Kuwait, I mean, do we have a lot of children with learning disabilities? Is it on the increase, decrease? Tell us about that, please.
It's what I'm
more
about.
More males, females?
Females. Well, usually it's more males than females. It's usually 3 to 1. So.
Is there a reasoning behind that?
Firstly, I would like to say that the percentage is usually between 10 and 15%, and that's not just Kuwait. It's Kuwait, it's Bahrain, it's London. I mean, England. Worldwide, it's about 10 to 15. So it's a really big chunk of one's population. So we really do need to think of ways and services to provide for these children, because all children with learning disabilities, with or without attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, they all have average to above average intelligence. So these kids are quite smart. So we need to make sure that they get the right services to help them succeed, because otherwise they will use their intelligence on, on bad things. They will do, they will use it against themselves if their parents don't look after them, if society doesn't look after them, and if the school doesn't look after them.
And you also offer diagnosis, because
Yes.
there may be some parents now watching.
Absolutely.
They may have questions that their children may have some learning disabilities.
Absolutely.
Or some problems. They could come to the center and find out.
Absolutely. We do diagnose many different disabilities, one of which is learning disability. And I always say it's best for the parent to come early, so not too early. Usually learning difficulty starts, let's say, it starts to be noticeable at the age of 6 or 7, which is when the child reaches second or third year primary, which is lots of writing and lots of reading. So that's when the learning problems start. So the earlier we start with the kids, the better, because I think the later you start with them, then they would have sort of a the effect of having a learning disability. The psychological effects are really hard on them. So the older they are, the harder it is to treat them. They're treatable, but the older they are, the harder it is to treat them. So it's best to come early, basically.
Okay, that's a lot of things that the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching offer to the public. And I know the big international conference, there's a website.
Yes.
Could you mention that website
Yes, absolutely.
and a little bit about it, please?
Absolutely. It's www.q8ldconference.com. On the website, you will find biographies on all of our speakers and some of their handouts as well. You will find a link to our actual website, the Center for Child Evaluation and Teaching, and a link to the Kuwaiti Association for Learning Differences, their website as well. And of course, you will find information about the venue, the dates, and so on and so forth.
Okay, a lot of valuable information there. And coming towards the end of our interview this evening, Abeer, any last comments you'd like to close with about the conference or the center in general?
Yeah. I would just like to make sure that parents go easy on their kids, and if they feel like their kids have a problem, to really try and help them right away, not to call them names for you know, be it a teacher or a parent, to make sure that they are patient with them. And I would just like to thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you, Abeer, on the weekend show, and we wish you and your colleagues all the best of luck in this big international conference coming up on the 4th and 5th of December at the Regency Hotel right here in the state of Kuwait. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.